Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Erich Show. It's a bit of a somber episode today as we mourn the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. Um, anyway, the show must go on.
Welcome to The Jarek Show, featuring your hosts, Javvad Malik and Eric Krohn. Timely topics, poorly presented.
So, Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, another day above ground.
Yeah, hey, that's something, right?
I suppose so.
It is starting off very somber. What is wrong with us today? What's going on, man? I'm feeding on your energy. Come on.
I know. Okay. Let's bring it up a bit. So, I was at Gartner conference this week. It was
Oh yeah.
in London, 3 days. Uh, it was huge, I tell you. There was a massive turnout. It was probably one of the best Gartner conferences I've ever attended, and that's saying a
Excellent.
lot. Yeah, I had to, bathe with the antibacterial wash afterwards because you get the magic quadrant off me. But but I
I've
think if it, yep, go on.
Well, I've been to a couple of them here in the States, over in the DC area, and they were pretty good conferences. It was a lot of very interesting and fun people there. Good conversations, really. I do. It's a different flavor than so many of the other ones we do, right?
It is, and that's one thing that our team we had one of the booths there as well, and they were like the quality of conversations is so good. There are no time. They said they had zero time wasting conversations where you have like a half-hour chat with someone, and in the end they said, "Oh yeah, I'm just a student doing a research study." Why didn't you start with that? And we could have handed you over to someone else.
I'm just here for the swag, right? Do I get the
Yeah,
hat now, right? That's
yeah.
so many security conferences are like that. And I'm sorry folks, if you go to security conferences, it's not like we don't want to give you the swag. It's just ask for it, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I'm there, it's like, like even when like someone came up and said, "Can I just take a charger or something or whatever you have on the thing?" Like, sure. And they're like, "Do you want to scan me?" I said, like, if you want to be contacted about the product, sure,
Yeah.
we'll scan you. Otherwise, take it. I mean, like, there's nothing worse than like just for the sake of like a $2 giveaway, you then get contacted by a sales rep or something, and then you just say no, go away, and then you post on Twitter, "This company is always pestering me," or whatever you.
Well,
So
I've
I
got a
think
brilliant
that
idea for next year, Javad. I found out
go on.
just now that I'm going to be going to Vegas, or not Vegas, to RSA. Okay, so
Ooh,
not No Before Con, which I'm kind of sad about. They're happening at the same time, but I'm going to be going to RSA. And what I'm going to do this year is when I go to get my badge, I'm actually changing my phone number and email address to yours. And then I'm going to be like, scan away, folks, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't care, whatever. Yeah, just tell us if you're here to trick or treat. Beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
oh man, that is just
You're going to be getting the calls. It's good. Nobody wants to call you though cuz you're all the way over in the European side, right?
that's fine. I've been to RSA so many times. I'm on every vendor's database. Now, all I'm saying is be very careful, my friend, if you want to play this game, because I will be going to European conferences, speaking to vendors that speak German and Dutch and whatever other languages they do, Arabic, and they'll be contacting you and say,
We're going to be doing this until it's mutually assured destruction again, and we
that's
have to
right.
scrap both of our phone numbers and start all over again, right? That would be a very you and I thing. Yeah, I could see that happening.
That would be.
Uh,
Oh, can I
anyway.
show them the thing?
You absolutely. Let's Well, hold
I
on.
don't have. I don't have it here actually.
I have on the show. I have it on Twitter, or I'm sorry, on YouTube. That it's not made for kids, but that doesn't mean you can show them
No, do you have it
anything.
with? Do you have the thing?
It's
Because I.
downstairs.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really well, folks.
I,
We have blown that one. Yeah, we'll have to follow up on this one. I want to say this is episode 99. Maybe next episode, Javad. We
maybe,
can
maybe,
we can do
yes,
that.
we can do the
I
thing.
don't
Okay,
know. Okay, moving on.
segue.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, that's the wrong story. We want to start with this story.
Hey,
Hong Kong consumers.
you're doing the
Yes,
poorly presented part.
I know, but it is timely.
Yes.
Hong Kong consumers want right to choose when firms use AI. Ooh,
I thought this
that's
was very interesting.
mhm,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. So what they're talking about here is, some of the numbers are in here. 31% of online consumers in the Asian market trust artificial intelligence, et cetera, et cetera. And it kind of comes back to like we've seen problems with AI, especially when it's doing something meaningful, like, oh, I don't know, police cameras and stuff like that. Like, how many times have we seen where it's like, oops, we identified this as a felon, beat them, and then turns out, no, they were a politician, which doesn't exclude them from being a felon, keep in mind. Right?
Yeah.
No, but you get the idea. Like there are so many issues with AI, but pretty much any organization is free to start using AI without ever telling anyone that that may be something that could impact things. And I'm assuming that some organizations are using that to essentially credit rate organizations, other organizations, customers, could affect what they pay for services and goods and all that kind of good stuff. I think it's actually a really good thing that people have the option to say, you know what? I don't trust the computers and the biases with the computers with the modern AI. Let's do this the old school way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very forward-thinking approach because in a lot of places we're not quite there yet with AI, and this is where you can see a lot of definitions being: is it AI or is it just a nested bunch of if this then that
Yeah.
statements? And no, it's machine learning. Is nothing to do with AI. I don't know. So I think the terms are there, but what I do agree is that people need to have more transparency in what data is collected, what it's used for, and how it is used and retargeted. I saw this interesting post on someone captured it from Twitter and posted it on LinkedIn, and someone said, "Cybersecurity people telling me that big companies are stealing my data. Oh no, they're going to serve me more targeted ads. Whatever will I do?" Like, so
Yeah.
it's you can see where people come from. It's just such a big thing. It's so far away in the distance that drawing the parallel to my data being used in an incorrect manner or collected unlawfully can have a big impact, but it's so far away that people just can't see it. So that's why I think regulations like this are so important because they are forward looking. So as organizations do, um, maybe we'll get one of those cookie banner type things like this site uses AI. Do you consent to AI processing your data, or would you like an underpaid worker in a sweatshop in a third world country to do it for us? So
Right. Right. Like we see all the ones now about accepting cookies. And do you want all the cookies? Do you want some of the cookies? Would you like to choose which cookies you're going to use and which ones you're not going to use? They're actually kind of making it where it's much easier just to go allow all. And I think, that's marketing for you. They'll find a way. But I did think this was a very interesting story for exactly that reason and the forward thinking of it. And quite frankly, I mean, the more power we give Skynet, the more likely they are to turn us into human batteries. That's a crossover, folks, between the Matrix and I'm just throwing that out there. Anyways, moving
thanks for
on.
explaining. Thank you, Captain, for explaining your references because none of us would have got them otherwise. Hackers now use sock puppets for more realistic phishing attacks. Aren't sock puppets an old thing? What's new about this attack, Eric?
What's interesting on this one is what they're doing is they're creating spoofed emails and they're CCing one of either themselves or a partner in crime on that and then having the other person connected too. So it looks like you're coming in on a conversation between two other people that they're going back and forth and now you're being involved in the conversation. So they're actually conversing between each other. Now, sock puppets are no big deal. We've seen this kind of stuff happen, but we haven't really seen it happen like this, where they start off the conversation with the other person CC'd. I think it's a very interesting and novel way to do this.
Have you? I can't remember the name of the experiment. It's one of those old school experiments where they hire someone, they invite someone in for a study, and they don't realize that the other five people in the group are actors. So when they say, you know, is this line longer than this line? Everyone else will point to the wrong answer, and that group sort of mentality will oftentimes force that person to say, "Oh, go along with the crowd," because they think that they've not understood the question properly, or they're not
Yeah.
looking at the thing in the right perspective. And I think this is what this plays on. When you involve someone in a conversation and you think, "Oh, there's already stuff going on and people think this is normal. If I step in and question it now, I'm going to look stupid." And nobody wants to look stupid, despite how effortless you make it seem every
Yeah,
day,
this is
Eric.
great social engineering. Haha. You're a funny guy here. Yeah, yeah. No, this is great social engineering, and it's using that social pressure, like you said, to do that. They're building a sense of trust because two other people are already communicating, and that makes us want to trust those parties more. So
Yeah, yeah,
there's some interesting psychology behind this. I think we should. I'd like to
yeah.
tear this
It,
apart a little bit and maybe work it into some talks. Honestly,
it is. It is. I mean, there was like this. Well, even from as a kid, you probably remember like clubs normally would like hold people back from entering, and they make them form a line. And
Mhm.
especially if you were like dressed up nicely and you were good looking, they put you in the line outside. So if you were walking past, you think this club must be amazing. There's people queuing to get in, and look how hip they are, and they're like trendy and whatever you. So you queue up again. It's like that. It's the same old thing, just in the digital age. So hackers are using WeTransfer links to spread malware. Oh my god, look at the banners on this site,
Yeah, you're
msn.com. This
right.
is
Wow.
looks like malware itself. But okay, there's a new phishing scam going around where hackers are disguising malware as WeTransfer links. So if you get an email from an unknown person sharing a proof of payment document from WeTransfer, it's most likely malware. Um, this is
Different it's kind of the same old, only using a different platform, right? So we get the text messages with the payment notification and things like that. This is another one of those that goes, "Wait a minute, I didn't pay anybody," and so they click on it. Now, I was curious about I I only used WeTransfer recently for the first time. It's not something I was real familiar with. I was
oh,
sending some stuff to a reporter in DC that wanted some stuff. And it was the first time that I ever actually used it. Is this something that you see more often, or is popular in the circles that you run in?
I have seen it for a number of years, and oftentimes it's like yes, that's the one LinkedIn user,
Yep,
social proof bias. Thank you.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, no, WeTransfer is a product I've seen before and used before. It's normally used as stopgap when, say, one person is on a Google and the other person
Yeah.
is doesn't use Google, they're on Microsoft, so it's just sometimes it's easier for cross-platform file transfers. But also I've seen it increase with remote working over the last couple of years,
Mm,
and with outsourcing, especially like everyone is capable of creating media these days. So lots of people are working on podcasts and
yeah.
videos and what have you, and social media stuff. And so a lot of times they'll be transferring or Google Docking or whatever files to and from each other. So it's not one of those things that is completely unexpected to receive. It's still not very common, but it's like you said, it's just another mechanism for them to use.
Yeah, it was useful in my situation. I was trying to take a video and send it to this reporter, and it was too large for email, and Google Drive was doing some weird things to it, and so one thing led to another. I will be the first to admit I'm oftentimes one of the last to stumble upon things like this. Like, honestly, I didn't use WhatsApp until you and I started connecting a couple years ago, and I'm a little late to the party on a lot of this stuff, but it is interesting. It kind of shows you how these bad actors are adapting to things a little bit differently by turning around and using different technologies. Same basic idea behind the scam, but a very different technology and way to do it. But it works the same way in our heads.
It does indeed. It does indeed. So, cyber crime fears for children. Think of the children as cost of living bites. 40% of UK parents believe their children may turn to cybercrime because of the surging cost of living. Be better parents. That's all I have to say for it. That's
About
like
a
saying,
100% of American parents are like, yeah, we already knew it. It's
yeah. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, if okay, they took about like the near 10% UK inflation and rising food costs and everything and what have you. So times are tough for everybody.
so
Should
I
that
I
be an
saw this.
excuse? Yep.
Well, I saw this, Javada, and what I immediately thought of is it's more of a statistics thing in my mind, right? And I started looking at this and I was like, I wonder how they're defining cybercrime. Like, is this downloading torrents because it's too
Ah,
expensive to go out to the movies? Is that what they're thinking about cybercrime? Or are they thinking about people actually doing attacks on other people? And it wasn't real clear to me in this. I I thought about this and said, this could be used a couple of different ways. It could be one of those lies, damn lies, and statistics things. But I did think it was interesting that, over in the UK, that was a pretty high number. What was it? 40 something percent of
yeah,
UK parents
yeah.
thought their children may turn to cybercrime. Again, the definition of cybercrime being who knows what it is.
That's all right. They can turn to cybercrime, do a few years in jail, and come out and become highly paid consultants. So
Yeah. Write a
good
book while
career
you're in
path.
jail. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier to go to university. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Yep.
Um, okay, Uber.
Oh,
Oh my God. These websites are so.
who
Why
picked
are
these
websites?
websites?
Yes, Eric.
It's Reuters. Come on, it's Reuters. It's
It's Reuters. There. Yeah, I'm just. Uber investigating cybersecurity incident. Oh, wow. Another one? Uber should just be permanently in like, and today Uber has leaked X, Y, and Z. It should be alongside like, and Meta has been fined this much by a privacy regulator somewhere in the world.
it's the weekly meta fine and
Yeah.
Uber breach. Yeah. No, at least in this case, they're willing to talk about it before somebody outed them. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they learned a strong lesson about that, I hope, in the past. But yeah,
Yeah.
this was pure social engineering again. This was
It was.
this was pure. It was a tweet, it was a smishing attack, asking for a password, and somebody went, "Oh, okay, here it is." And then it sounds like they got in the system, cruised around a little bit. The the last guess I heard was that somebody found like a password list or something with embedded admin passwords, and they took over and started taunting them on Slack. Like they took over everything.
Yeah,
Um,
Kevin Bowman tweeted this out, Gossie the dog. He goes, I was spamming an employee with push authentication for over an hour, then contacted him on WhatsApp and claimed it to be from Uber IT and told him if he wants to stop, he must accept it. And well, he stopped and accepted it, and I added my device.
yep.
So there
Yep.
is like lots of things coming out, and but you're right, it a lot of it ultimately boils down to social engineering and
Yeah.
people either picking poor passwords or giving them up too quickly, folding quicker than a deck chair as soon as someone puts a bit of social pressure on them.
Well, and this was not your what we see as a typical attack these days where it's a nation state or something. This was literally the kid in the basement drinking Mountain Dew eating pizza. We say it's never that anymore. It was that.
No, you are right. And I saw some posts on LinkedIn, and some people were saying how um, the kid went to Uber to claim the bug bounty, like it was 15 grand bug bounty, and they said it's not 15 grand, or they didn't want to pay him, and that's when he
Mhm.
went on that thing. So I don't know, there's all these stories and myths and everything swirling around. These are easy to believe, or people want to believe these, but I don't know. What do you believe, Eric?
I believe it's oftentimes
We don't have time. Sorry, we are near the end of the show. So thank you for joining us all. Hopefully we'll be back next week in much more higher spirits with better news. and there will be less hacking and more things to be cheery about. Until next week, cheerio.